Now, ladies and gentlemen, everything I'm about to read in this next segment, other people are saying these are accusations made by other people. This is all, we're just reading what people are saying. Okay, we're reading accusations levied against people. I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do about all this. I don't know. Sarah Stock, who used to work in AEW, used to work in WWE as well. She just started melting down about AEW, and a lot of people are accusing her of like, hey, you just bought your blue check and now you're just talking mad shit. Like they're accusing it of kind of being like the David Otunga thing, which it's hard to get monetized on X. Like now, if you bought the blue check like right when it was a thing, a bunch of people got monetized quick to where you can subscribe to their shit. For myself, I don't have nearly enough. You have to have 2,000, I think, blue checkmark people follow you back minimum as well, on top of like 5 million impressions over 3 months or something like that. So like myself, I pay the blue check every month. I don't make any fucking money off it. I haven't, which maybe that's an L for me. I don't know. In the beginning, I told you guys I did not want the blue check, but then like they added the folder feature, and in testing it, dude, it does get you more interaction. Like, and the features are better, you know, like other blue checks can DM me, which has happened a bunch, and I can DM blue checks or whatever. So, I mean, it's beneficial for like, if you're trying to promote something for sure. So I just look at it as like, I guess it's a $10 marketing expense for me every month. I can live with that, you know, but I'm not monetized. I can't get it, dude. Like it's hard as fuck. And not that I'm putting grift posts out to get there, but every like once a month, I'll just look at where I'm at. And like sometimes I'll have the right amount of impressions, but at no point will I ever feel like I'll ever get the 2,000 fucking. I only have 3,000 followers, so I'm gonna get 2,000 blue check followers. Like that's fucking never gonna happen. So it is what it is. But Sarah Stock though gets her blue check after a bunch of her tweets blown up about her criticizing and calling out AEW and shit. And so now people are accusing her of like grifting right now. That's why she's having this melty, is to try and get those impressions, try and get those followers up. Who knows? Maybe Sarah Stock has 2,000 blue check followers because she was in the wrestling biz. Do 2,000 people in the entertainment / wrestling biz have fucking blue checks that follow her? I don't fucking know. But the point I'm getting at is that we can't dismiss that could be a possibility. She could be grifting hard here, okay? Like, honestly, she could be, and I'm just going to put that out on Front Street. I'm not dismissing the notion that she could just be talking a bunch of shit, okay? And I will hit a sicko here because this is like half a sicko segment, kind of. Like the original Sarah Stock meltdown was in the sicko segment, and then now it's like just part of AEW news because it's evoked so much wrestler responses and whatnot, and just fucking accusations and shit, like I said. So and it pertains to women talent and luchadors. Now, famously here on PWT, your boy Phil, I've said up a billion times, like, yo, Tony doesn't know how to book luchadors or women. Just because I've accused him of not being able to book luchadors or women well, I don't know. I'm not about to sit here and say he doesn't treat them as human beings well. Okay. It is interesting that Ray Phoenix, a luchador, said at one point that Tony Khan treated him inhumanely, and then Sickos had a field day with that. But Sarah Stock is using the same vernacular. She's like, you know, they treat women and luchas inhumanely. And she starts accusing Amanda Huber of shit and being very nasty towards her, even though that beef is done. Like Amanda Huber's like, yo, I'm done with this beef and let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Which is like, I think the right thing to do. When someone starts like sicko spurging on you, you just like, you just don't address it. You just fucking just block and move on, dude, you know, or whatever the fuck. Just mute that convo and move it. Like, you know, why carry it out? It's just like a bitch fit in public that doesn't need to be public, you know? So either way, I don't even know where to start with this because it's all over the goddamn place. But let's start with the Amanda Huber stuff. Okay, so Tiffany Neves posted, you couldn't get to the bag with this shirt, right? And people start, it's like a thirst trap shirt or bag, or sorry, no, it's a bag. Duh, dummy. So Sarah Stock goes fire. No wonder hysterical Huber tried to keep this 10 far away from her man. And it's like, whoa, buddy, that's a crazy thing. You're like evoking Brody Lee and shit in this now. Like, what the fuck? What are you insinuating here? Tiffany, if you've ever felt strangely unwelcomed at AEW, it's not you, I promise. TK and everyone else should ignore the notes. Support Tiffany Neves. She's a pro. So just like dragging Tiffany Neves into this somehow and spreading a fucking rumor that she was unwelcomed and tried to hit on Brody Lee. Like, what are you saying? What does that even really mean? So it's like, okay, more about this. And because people bring up like HR department and shit. And so, Amanda isn't a part of the women's division. She's an office employee. So taking more shots at Amanda Huber. So, this guy's like, what happened here? Seems like a big problem. And then she goes, you could call it the tip of the iceberg. Amanda isn't part of the women's division. She's an office employee, which is fine. And it's like, yeah, obviously she's not in the women's division. It's just a funny thing to like pwn someone and correct them on like a sicko. But at the same time, it's like, she's carrying this thing on. She's obviously mad at Amanda Huber, but basically the tip of the iceberg, implying that there's an iceberg of women who've been buried because they're hot or some shit in AEW. So that's sort of what comes to light here. And so Top Tier Tiara says the score will never be even and posts this picture here. And everyone's like, she's stunning and shit. She's so gorgeous. And then Sarah Stock says, oof, another one falls victim to the hands of hysterical Huber. Tiara, if you've ever, because this is the AEW photo shoot background, is it not? Like, I'm pretty sure that's where you get your picture taken in front of that type of screen in AEW. If you've ever felt sidelined at AEW, it's not you, I promise. Anytime I worked with Tiara, she delivered happily and skillfully. Support her. Are we seeing a pattern? So she's trying to point out, like, if you're a hot girl and you're in AEW, you get fucking buried by Amanda Huber? Like, what? Is that what you're saying? Like, doesn't she run AEW Heels or whatever the fuck? Or isn't she a part of that? Like, why would she be worried? So then what about all the hotties that are on AEW that get through regardless of that? What about like Sky Blue and Anna Jay and fucking all these girls like Yumina Shirakawa and Tony Storm? Like, name them. They're all fucking lookers. What about all of them as well? Like, I just think this is unfounded a little bit. I'm not gonna lie here. Just like accusing, like placing Amanda Huber, like, is she in control of the women's? I'm not willing to dismiss the notion that people get in Tony Khan's ear. So is it a thing where Huber maybe doesn't like these girls' personalities? Why would it be based on looks? You know what I mean? I just don't think that's it, but maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't like them and then she's in Tony's ear, and like, I'd be willing to entertain a conspiracy like that. But as far as like, oh, do you notice hot women get buried? It's like, what do you mean? Their whole roster's full of baddies, dude. I don't even in Ring of Honor, dude. All these wrestler chicks are bad these days, man. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know about that. I would place it more, if there is any smoke to that fire, maybe it's just like they rub her the wrong way or something. Sarah Stock starts going off about HR complaints and starts defending the women and whatnot. So basically what happens is Sarah Stock goes, oops, forgot to tag them. It's the real Manzo. Or she goes, I'm calling out corruption. Hi, Karen Fibber, Bibber, and Chris Nada Manzione. Sleep tight. Okay, and that's in response to the iceberg. And she says, oops, forgot to tag them. It's the real Manzio. No, Grok, go away. And I can't find Karen's handle. Probably disappeared publicly out of embarrassment for her grand flop of a greatest accomplishment in AEW, renaming human resources to people and culture. You go, girl, earn that paycheck. People and culture. So no, AEW does not have an HR department. So just saying, like, yeah, that doesn't exist. They call it people and culture. That's funny. And then she quote tweets herself and goes, only a small specialized niche of professionals will understand how disastrous this is, but AEW doesn't have production meetings either. Poor Mansuri, pro of pros, trying to get a minimum of 2 live shows each week on the air with the next to zero information, and a whole roster and staff even more in the dark as 8 p.m. Wednesday hits. Yeah, I mean, that's well documented. They do not have fucking production meetings, okay? That's well documented. She says, if you're on the AEW staff or roster and consulting Manzione, I'd suggest stopping immediately. No way I should know who visits Not a Manzione. Not a Manzione. And I certainly shouldn't know more about your issues than you do. Issues is an interesting word. Per issue is a unique way to charge talent and define a whole person. How many mental health issues are the accepted number of issues for pro wrestlers again. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Guys, 230 watching. There's 100 watching on X, the rest on youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. Run the likes up to 100. Don't be stingy. We've been cooking on tonight's show. So this guy says, does the HR department also set up the ring and catering? Sarah Stock goes, there's no HR department at AEW. There's a clueless puppet named Karen from Not HR. Karen. Oh, shit. She's a Karen who refuses to put anything in writing and spits out PC corporate lines like a bot. Now, this is the other thing. Everybody shits on WWE. It's just corporate jargon. Bro, that's everywhere in every business. In AEW, the wrestlers know this. They get corporate jargon run around, last-minute texts, no communication. Like, trust me, man, this has been well documented by so many people. So I believe this part. Only Manzione has a use for her. He uses her as a shield to hide, just like Not Man would. In fact, I'm still waiting for my notice, Karen. As far as I know, I'm still employed. Paychecks have been late. When do benefits end? So there she's just taking a shot at the dirt sheets, saying like, you know, the rumors are whatever the fuck. You know, we went over all that. The rumors are like she was released and she's like, I was never released or whatever. Again, Sarah Stockos, she doesn't need to say a word and she can't right now. Regardless, no te preocupes, Steph. Yo vi todo. I'm going to butcher this one. Hiciste lo correcto. Yesist no correcto. Sorry, I'm butchering that fucking word for sure. But basically, that's in response to herself again, because she brought up how Stephanie Vaquer was like left at a fucking airport and all this shit. So here's the tweet. She tweeted this out. Edge gets picked up from the airport every time. And this is the same thing with the CM Punk thing, where people are like, oh, he cries because Baby didn't get picked up from the airport in London, didn't get people to pick him up. Grown man can't find his way to a building. It's like, no, dumb fuck redax. They left him at the airport. He's a fucking famous guy. Like, he's the guy drawing their house. He's their fucking biggest draw in their whole show. He had the best match of their whole show. Can't leave him at the airport. The Bucks wouldn't get left at the airport by their fucking friend and shit. So Edge gets picked up from the airport every time. Orange Cassidy gets picked up from the airport every time. What is Orange Cassidy drawn? He's not a draw. That's what I mean. As do innumerable other talent, able-bodied males, all of them who can't fucking draw either, who don't draw. So I'm with Sarah Stock on this part, okay? Overall, she's having a crazy ass melty online. I'm right there with everybody in line with that. But as far as this is so true. The guy who literally takes pictures of himself picking up the talent from airports and shit is a Young Buck stand. He's one of their best friends. And his Twitter account, which disappeared, I'm pretty sure, he tweets out like Young Buck, stand in Young Buck, number one, like it's crazy, okay? As crazy as Tatum Paxley. So not Vaquer, though, not Zeusis, not Catalina, not any of the other foreign females coming to AEW for the first time. So she's claiming that whenever they've brought these luchadoras in to come make Mercedes Moné look like $100 million bucks, to make Monet look like money, they all get left at airports too. Now, the communication around travel has been a fucking documented talking point as well among wrestlers who used to work there, no, like, you know, all this shit. So it's not a coincidence. This keeps coming up time and time again, chat. And I don't know if all these people were left there. I'm not saying it's 100% true, but if that is true, Tony, what the fuck do you have against luchadors? Why do you book them like shit? And why the fuck don't you care about them getting picked up at airports? And why can't like CM Punk get picked up at the airport and shit? It's crazy, bro. When does Tony Khan go, dude, I'm fucking up. Hey, Travel, can we get on point? So imagine this. You're a young female wrestler arriving at an enormous airport in a foreign country. You reach out for direction. You're told you don't get any. There's nobody coming to pick you up. Figure it out. Navigate the foreign country, language, transportation, and find your way into the backstage area of a major event. Wonder if AEW women are told to figure it out when they land in Mexico. And that's just it. Do you think the AEW women who go to Mexico, do you think they're just told to figure it out? So how did she find her way backstage? Were they anticipating her? No one's answering her. All I'm assuming is Stephanie Vaquer gets left at an airport and no one's answering her. And look, Stephanie Vaquer fucking liked the tweet. She liked the fucking...
best guys, Tony Khan.
And then some people are accusing Sarah Stock. They're like, oh, so she liked one of your old tweets and you screen grabbed it and then you fucking are pretending it's this tweet. Now that's that's too much. Wrestlers, now that likes aren't visible, I know from my own account, wrestlers like fucking tweets you wouldn't expect, okay? And not everyone's going to show every tweet that every fucking wrestler likes, okay? Let's just be honest about that. And she liked this tweet, man. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt of that. Like, this lady's having a melty posting screen grabs and shit. Why wouldn't this have been the tweet she liked, you know? Wrestlers in WWE have liked tweets criticizing WWE or AEW in both a bunch of times already. So why would this be any different? I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she liked one of these fucking tweets. Probably this one about all the ladies here. And I guarantee you when Megan Bain goes to Mexico, they're not like, find your way to the fucking thing. Or maybe they do with her. I don't know. This is obviously an issue if it's been brought up by people who work there. Regardless if he thinks Sarah Stock's just being a dumb drunk bitch or not. I mean, there's enough smoke bellowing from this. I think I see a flame. I think we followed the smoke trail and we see some fire. And at this point. Now, her calling the guy like no man's zone, I don't even know who the fuck she's talking about. I have no clue. So all of that could be the tip of the iceberg. That sounds conspiratorial, literally, So Sarah Stock writes, example of an AEW HR investigation. And this is why like the boys and Kevin Kelly feel the need to sue. Again, why did they sue and team up on their lawsuit? I believe it's because they both viewed it as I think they should have stayed separate. I'm not a lawyer though. So maybe someone who knows law could come on this show and be like, you're dumb. Shut the fuck up. This doesn't make sense. They should have sued together or whatever. But I think the boys and Kevin Kelly should have stayed separate in their situation. But I think they both parties viewed their shit as like an HR problem. And again, we're hearing about HR problems. And again, with the Punk thing, we're hearing about HR problems or people and culture, or whatever the fuck they call it over there. So an example of an AEW HR investigation. An incident went down between a member of staff and talent backstage. I witnessed it all. Was among the first on the scene. Well, what was the incident? I stayed with the staff member while somebody else directed talent away to defuse the situation. Throughout the entire investigation, I was never once asked what happened. If manager of talent relations, me, was there for it all, why was I not consulted? Who knows? Investigation's over. Now, do you guys take her word for that? You know what I mean? Like, she was there as manager of talent relations. An incident happened between a staff and a talent. She was the first on the scene. She waited there until whatever. Oh, no, we got Danielson Hey, we got Danielson on the case. And the Hardley boys, fucking Matt and Nick Jackson, are going to go banging on doors. Like, is that what happened? Like, how do they not ask her at all in this investigation? And that's what was bullshit with the CM Punk situation, where they're like, oh, we put together a crack team of investigators to look into this, but it's their own team. So they found it was enough to where Punk should be fired and Tony Khan feared for his life and blah, 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 whatever the fuck. It's like, well, yeah, you get your friends and the people you're paying. Of course they're going to say that. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems shady and shit. And she's just saying stuff like we've already heard stories like this already, other instances. Come on, man. Unless she's making this all up and it just lines up, and maybe she is that calculated. Maybe she is so indelibly calculated. She's like, I'm going to hit on every major accusation that AEW's had levied towards them about HR, travel, luchadors, women, fucking, yeah, I already said travel. We'll say travel again. What was the other one? There was something else. I can't remember, but either way, she's just hitting on every beat of like every accusation they've had. Maybe she was just that calculated and knew to add smoke. She's just adding smoke. She's not like, oh yeah, in that Punk incident, I was the first on the scene and I blah, blah. She's saying like, there's this other incident where I was first on the scene and whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe she's just making it all up. Maybe she was just super calculated and like, I'm going to drum up the shit and just add fucking fuel to every little fire that's around. Or maybe these are real problems we keep hearing about from people over and over again. Crazy bitch, CM Punk, the Tate twins, whatever, like all the wrestlers, Big Swole, Kevin Kelly, like everybody, they're all just like making up along the lines of the same criticisms of AEW. Even like a guy like Jose the Assistant, he hasn't completely buried AEW by any means, but he's stood up and been like, man, the fucking luchas, like we had shit cooking this way. They should do this, man. I thought, you know what I mean? Like they ain't booking these guys correctly. Even people just coming out and not even trashing them, but just pointing things like this out. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like it's the same 5 things we're hearing about constantly. It's not like there's just new made up, oh, Tony Khan's worked with that priest's kid who had people chained up in his base. Like, people aren't like accusing him of crazy ass shit. It's just like the same things in different ways keep coming to light. You guys know what I'm saying? So Sarah Stock, we already read this one. She says it's nipped in the bud before TK gets a chance to lay eyes on them. So she's claiming like whenever there's a problem that goes to HR, gets investigated, people and culture, it gets nipped before Tony Khan even has a chance to even really talk about it. Like, people are just shielding him, or he set it up like, I don't want to hear about the problems. Everybody else deal with the problems. I'm going to just book the show and be creative and take responsibility for all of the fun shit, but all like the ratings going down, wrestlers being disgruntled, paying people too much, all the business shit. I'm just going to skirt accountability. And so Sarah Stock says, here's how Kosherby and AEW took care of Mexican talent to save money on the flight home between Dynamite and Collision. They'd fly in Mexican talent on Tuesday and keep them in the country until Sunday. No per diem, no food allowance, and only 1 day a week at home with their family. I was furious when I found out. I addressed the insanity and immorality of that with Kosha, but then I'd have to do it for everyone. A lot of people don't realize, like in AEW, when you're on salary, you're making 6 figures or more. That means you're getting at least 100,000 or more. So everyone there's just trying to get on salary. And when you get that graphic, an official graphic, to me, that's indicated in the past, that's when you're on salary. I don't know, maybe some people, but like the grizzled young vets, they got a graphic and shit. So maybe they are. I don't know. All I'm saying is this. All the other people, this is why you hear stories about like that Slim J guy. He's like, dude, I'm broke and I can't afford shit. Because you sign with Tony Khan where it's like exclusive, and he does give you a decent chunk of change, but then he can dictate where you work, and it's only if he books you. So he's got that Slim J guy, for instance, signed to like an exclusive with him where he shows up to work and he gets paid a certain amount, but Tony like used him for a little bit, then that team just like disappeared or whatever. So he's not getting booked in Ring of Honor or Collision or whatever the fuck. So he's not getting paid at all. And meanwhile, he can't go explore this option or that option. It's very Tony McConish, and this is the cutting of corners. This is the cutting corners, you know? This is the like hiring high school workers instead of just like having a production team who carry your cameras, having a stew, like someone who's worked there since day one, knows exactly what we need from the product. Or maybe you bring new people in who knows exactly what you need with the product. He'll hire high school workers and he nickels and dimes talent. And this is true. And we've seen it with the production costs. We're making $500 million. Well, your stage setups and shit don't look like it. Where's all that fucking money gone into? Just people's fucking salaries and shit. Bunch of people fucking around, not making people money, bragging online. Oh, they're just jealous that we get paid more than ever and we fucking work less. Well, you guys aren't drawing. No one's making money. Like you guys are making money, but how much money's Tony made? Well, he doesn't care about money. He's a billionaire. Well, that's fucked up and lame. That's lame as shit. You know what I mean? So it's a billionaire's vanity project. Okay. So then why are you mad? You know, like, so we're right about all this shit. All these criticisms. Now, I don't know if that's how Kosha Araby. I'm not saying this is true either. I'm Phil Marks. This is South Park. Okay? This is South Marks. This isn't even fucking real. This is all a dream we're having, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is true, but she's saying it. Maybe she's just trying to get her blue check money in time for Christmas. I don't fucking know. But then she goes on to say, like, Doc Sampson is a good guy as head of team medical. He's responsible for the health of AEW talent, both physical and mental. Just jump on here, Doc Sampson, and clarify what this app is about. I follow Doc Sampson. In a crisis, talent give the same info to 3 different people and they book you an appointment 3 months from now. Still trying to figure out how that's an improvement over a staff of highly qualified mental health professionals who are available 24/7. Almost seems like a cheaper way to do things. What do you guys do with the extra money? And I agree. So they're saying like one of these wrestlers got hurt on one of these shows, one of these AEW wrestlers, and they're saying like he has an appointment 3 months out. And it's like, bro, 3 months out in WWE, the medical's right fucking there on hand. I'm not saying they don't have medical personnel on hand at AEW shows, but when it's a serious, like a concussion, a leg's blown out or some shit, they don't have Seth waiting 3 months or whatever the fuck. And that news came out, or someone said it, like he'll get checked up in the next 3 months or like whatever the fuck they said. And that was crazy. I think that's what Sarah Stock's talking about here as well. Like, that's nutty. 3 months, you got to wait. I don't know, man. So Ricochet had this to say, like, you know, this was posted by Wrestling Observer. Former AEW coach says corruption and negligence are running unchecked at company. And then Ricochet pipes in and goes, "No, we just didn't like you." Were you even there? I don't even know if Ricochet was there. He's the biggest nutsucker, finger bumhole poker there is, dude. It just is what it is. And Sarah Stock goes, "We've gotten official word from AEW regarding inhumane treatment towards Mexicans and the firing of the entire mental health department. Thank you for your response. We appreciate knowing AEW's take on the allegations." And if they did fire all of the mental health people on staff, which, like, how many of those do you need? But if they did fire them all and then they do this, like, to downsize, this all just looks like AEW's downsizing and shit, if that's true. You know what I mean? Everything they're doing seems like downsizing. I don't know. Just like fucking The Observer, dude. Fire sales, 50% off sales every month all year. Like, it just seems like downsizing to me. And I quote tweeted Ricochet's thing, "No, we just don't like you." I quote tweeted it. I was like, "Wrestling fans to AEW." Because it's all the cope in the world. It's better. It's fucking, the Fed bet, all this shit. And it's like, nah, people just don't like AEW anymore. Just accept that part. Sarah Stock, though, is like, "We've gotten official word from AEW regarding inhumane treatment," just kind of making a joke. But people were like, "You're saying the same thing. You're just repeating what Ray Phoenix said." And then she claimed, she's like, "I didn't fucking know that Phoenix said that, but there you go. Interesting. He chose the same words." Either she's way too calculated and she knew to hit on every single beat that people have been talking about over the last like 3 years of AEW. Like, the only thing she hasn't brought up was NDAs and Kylie Ray, for fuck's sakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing she hasn't brought up. Otherwise, she's hit every single beat. Is it a coincidence, or was she just like super calculated in how she was gonna, on each topic she was gonna melt down on? I don't know. I leave that up to y'all's interpretation. Chat, you tell me. Commenters below, tell me. You're smarter than I am. You know, Kip Sabian responded to this and just said, "Balls to it. Feel free to melt down online, as it's the only place people seem to do it." It's so true. A lot of this messy shit, like, doesn't need to be online. But then again, if you think you're fighting for the right cause, you want to take it to a public forum. Like, how else are you supposed to have your voice heard, man? Freedom of speech. Like, I get it. I get why people take to social media. They want to feel like people can instantly gratify them or remedy them or like satisfy them with agreeance or whatever. Agreeance. Is that a word? Agreeance? I don't know. I might have just made that up. But either way, Kip Sabian's like, don't act like you're speaking for the roster. And that's the one thing I agree with Sabian with Kip on for sure. Like, she just drug a bunch of random women into this. Tiffany Neves. The fuck is she even in AEW? You know, like, I thought she was in NWA or some shit, or is she in TNA? I fucking forget right now. But like, god damn it, were you just bringing her up? Kip Sabian says, "I'll publicly say Chris helped me mentally more than anyone will ever know, far beyond just wrestling. Act your age, not your shoe size." So a perfectly respectable sticking up for someone who helped him, this Chris Manzione or whatever. And again, I don't even know who the fuck that is, so I'm not agreeing. That's all her claims, man. I'm not putting over what Sarah Stock's saying in that regard whatsoever, but I just want to bring attention to, she hit every fucking beat that since like Big Swole leaving the company, people have brought shit up. We get ghosted, travel, health issues, the women being mistreated, luchas being mistreated, no HR, insider investigations, fucking Tony being clueless to everything, no production meetings. Like, literally hit on everything in like a 24-hour span. So is this her just venting it all, just dumping it all out there? Is she just grifting for money now? And it's like the David Otunga saying he's going to knock John Cena out thing. Should AEW respond to it? You guys let me know. And they pose the same question. Ringside News does. Should they respond to it? And I quote tweeted this and said, no, like the sicko hive mind will just do it for Tony. It's built in. So he's lucky in that regard. But not that Tony needs to duke it out with her online or even say anything. But here's the problem. Tony lets it be known that he'll respond to people for less. He'll try and poach TNA fans and shit, but he can't respond to any of this. That's why he's created, like Triple H just puts out like tweets and he doesn't really respond and talk, so you don't expect it from him. Or Triple H. With Tony Khan, or like Carlos Silva, he's not like online arguing with fucking people or like responding to certain fans and then about music and then not responding to other people, right? Tony Khan's like in the mix, marking out over wrestling with people and shit, so he's seeing this all and he's just not addressing any of it. And I mean, he doesn't need to, but that's why there's that expectation, because we see him online and shit. That's all it is, right? And so that, ladies and gentlemen, was I guess sicko segment slash as Tony Khan.
The best guys, Tony Khan.